I teach negotiation classes at the master level, and I like to say that I don't teach negotiation, I run negotiation workshops. I got exposed to that kind of teaching when I was a PhD student at the Kellogg School of Management in the 1980s. They have just started a program for teaching and research in negotiation. And they did the teaching and also a lot of research through simulated negotiation. And when I came back to NHH in 1986, the first thing I did was to start teaching a negotiation class. I didn't know if this was going to work in Norway. I mean, in America, people are used to role-playing and doing that kind of stuff. So I didn't know what to expect. But it took me just one or two exercises, then I knew that this was not going to be a problem. And since then, I had focused on simulating negotiation as a strategy for teaching. So basically, this is what I've been doing for, since I came to NHD. Nå er det siste gangen dere kan leke med forhandlinger. Neste gang blir det alvor. Så nå må dere bare stå på. Så nå kan dere bare gå til grupperommene deres, så vil jeg komme rundt med roller til dere. I use many different simulations, maybe 8 to 10 simulations for each class or each course. And each of the simulations focusing on different types of typical challenges in negotiation. Sometimes it may be win-win or integrative negotiation. Sometimes it may be one-on-one. Sometimes it may be multiple parties negotiation. And we focus on different types of core concepts like analysis of interest, alternatives, packaging, or linking issues together, and how to communicate constructively in conflict situations. And it's always the issue of two or more parties with difference in opinion on how problems should be resolved, try to get to a common agreement. Or sometimes they are not able to do so and shouldn't be. They reach an impasse. So that's the core activity. And in order for me to help them learn for themselves how this process is going to work, we typically start off with theory. They read some theory, not a lot, but they read theory, or I make short introductions. And then they get the case material, they read it individually, and they formulate a strategy. Then they get assigned to a partner or two, and they do the same process over again with their partners. Typically, what they have done on their own will change in the discussion with their partners. So that's a learning process in its own right. Preparation by themselves and then by their partners. After they do that, they meet in a group room and negotiate with a counterpart. So typically it's 2 or 3 people on each side of the negotiation table. And they negotiate, and I tell them to use different types of approaches and procedures. I suggest that they should have separate meetings in the hallway and so forth. So we put a lot of small learning points that, come in addition to the main points. So after they have got the result, they get questions that I discuss with their counterparts about the process, about the outcome, what they could have done different, what they did right, and so forth. After they've discussed with the counterparts in the groups, we have a debriefing in the classroom for all the negotiating groups. And typically what we do there is that we compare results, we discuss what has been good results, what could have been better, what has been major pitfalls in this exercise. And after doing that, the students go home and they typically write, and this is important, they write individual reflection notes, not as a group, because I want to get to their personal, individual experience and learning process. So then they write to me short papers, 2-3 pages maybe, where they tell me what the result was, what I did right, what I did wrong, how they could improve, and what I should not do the next time they negotiate. And I read these individual reports and I comment upon them, give them encouragement when needed, and also tell them, explain to them what they have missed out that should be important. So this core activity of simulating negotiation is the center of a larger learning experience that goes from theory to evaluation. And we repeat this, all these exercises, and by repetition and variation, they get what I think is a robust framework that makes them able to apply it to different situations. Og så, hvis de må sluke noen kameler underveis for å få det til, så gjør det. Men ikke gjør det med en gang. Da. Obviously, this is a business school, so the main focus is on deal making. That is when you negotiate contracts or agreements between organizations, businesses. The other thing is dispute resolution. That is when you handle conflict, disagreements during contract periods, or even inside organizations, between departments and between individuals. So that's obviously the main focus. In the research community, we use the same theories with some adjustments, of course, to negotiation at the individual level with your spouse, with your car dealer, and so forth. You can use at the national level in political, international negotiation, and so forth. So the theory, with some adjustments, are very robust. What do they gain in competence? They become better negotiators. The first thing, I think, they get a lot more systematic in their approach to negotiation. They have a framework for planning that they can use, and at the same time they also get more flexible because they see that there are different ways to get their interests satisfied. So at the same time, as they are very systematic, they're also very flexible. That's at least what I hope to achieve, or hope that they will achieve in the negotiations. I think the main learning point is that teaching in this way helps the student to use the theory for their own purposes. When they have a problem, they don't go to the theory to find the solution in the theory. Life and negotiation is too messy for that. I think one important thing is that the students have fun. I have fun. We enjoy ourselves in these classes, and I think that's important in its own right. It helps the learning process.